What's up guys? In this video we'll take a look on an interview that I did with Eli Ventura about logistics, about supply chain, inventory management in your Amazon FBA business. And before we're getting into the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment I subscribed so I can personally reply to your comment. Let's start. Okay guys, we have Eli Ventura. He is the co-founder and director of e-commerce at WeForce, which is a company that gives services to brands on many marketplaces. He also have his own 5 brands on Amazon with more than 25 products, and he keep launching new products all the time on Amazon and of course on other marketplaces. He sells on Europe, Japan, and you said Brazil also, Eli? You started to sell
I will begin next month in
next month?
Brazil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear how it goes there. So we can learn from this guy a lot of things. This recording will be focused on inventory management, on logistics, and like Eli said before this call, this is kind of a gray area that is not that shiny, but it's super important to your business, especially when you grow and you have like more than 1 or 2 products. It becomes more and more important. So Eli, before we start, why won't you tell a little about yourself and about your background before you started Amazon? How long do you do Amazon?
Okay, so I'm from Israel first, married with 2 beautiful girls. That's I think the most important part in all the business. This is the reason we are selling.
Yes.
I started to sell on e-commerce on 2013. Started on eBay, drop shipping, some suppliers from Israel, suppliers from United States, basically drop shipping and wholesale. And then in 2014, I discovered the private label on Amazon and basically fell in love. My first product is the product I sell, the brand that I sell till now. Started in 2014. And since then, I left eBay and basically focus on Amazon, started to spread my brand and create another brands and other brands on Amazon US, Amazon Canada, Amazon Europe, and Amazon Japan. I try to produce new products every 1 or 2 months in order to enlarge my skills.
Interrupt, but you have your like the 5 brands under one seller account, or you like have couple of seller accounts, like you
I have
spread
2 sellers accounts.
2 seller accounts? Okay.
Yeah, one is my seller account. I have 3 brands there, and I have another seller account with a partner with 2 other brands.
You recommend if you like have your own brands without partners and like other people involved, like keeping everything in one account, or sometimes it's better to when it's like better to split it into 2 seller accounts?
I think, as we both know, Amazon, it's always better to split because they can walk up in a shiny day and close your account without any notice. So yeah, backup is always good thing to know. Always don't hide it from Amazon. Amazon knows about my second account, and they are related, and they all clear and all white, as it says.
Okay.
I'm also was head of e-commerce in Electra. It's one of the biggest consumer products companies in Israel. It's a $2 billion company. I helped them to start the Amazon Israel business and the FBA business in United States, and we did a lot of great things. And that's all. That's me.
Nice. So you got probably a lot of experience with Electra, which is the kind of a big seller. I didn't know that they sell like products in the US marketplace, like Amazon.com.
It's under the radar.
Under what?
Under the radar.
Under the radar. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So We'll start with the first question I prepared here for you. What, from your eyes, from your experience, is the importance of logistics and inventory management to your success as an Amazon FBA seller? Um, yeah.
Um, I think that as an Amazon FBA business owners, we like to think ourselves as individual entrepreneurs. And I believe that the business owner, basically in all the world of e-commerce and Amazon FBA in particular, you need to develop skills on many areas like financial management, logistics, planning, and many more, like every other retail business. And to run an Amazon business well, you really need to know how to accurately manage your inventory according to cash flows so that any given time you will have precisely the right amount of stock, neither too much or neither too little. Because if you have too much inventory, let's say you have 1,000 more than you need, that it means you have used your cash flow that could have dedicated to purchase new products. And if you have too little inventory, so you didn't plan the goods properly, so therefore you were likely to be short of cash flow. You understand?
Cash flow and also like sales, right? Like you lose
Yes, of
all
course,
those.
sales and cash flow.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. I figured this out on my own business, and the importance of this. When you're like, I had like couple of products, it was easier, but the more you have, it's harder, to manage all of this. So yeah, it's a super relevant topic. I agree.
I think it's
I know.
super important skill that you have to every Amazon seller need to develop this skill, the financial and logistics.
Mhm. It wasn't part of my questions, but do you feel that it's better to outsource this to someone that's his expertise, or keep it to yourself, develop these skills of financial like management and inventory management?
I think that my one of the most sentence that I love to share, and it's written all over my place in my office. It's do what you do best and outsource the rest. So you need to know what you're doing best. If you know to do PPC, please do PPC. If you know management, inventory, financial, do it. And the other things, not hire someone, but find someone to do it for you, but as a freelancer. I don't really like the payroll and something like that. You need someone to do it, but some expert to make it expertise.
Mhm.
And you need to know it, but not to do it, but to not to focus on it, but you need to manage it.
You need to do it maybe at the beginning, understand the principles, the basics, and then like outsource to someone that can only do that and focus, and then it would even like be better than you, right?
Yeah. Let me share with you one example from eBay.
Mhm.
At the beginning of my business, I sell on eBay, and on eBay you have a lot of customer support and customer service. And I did it on my own because I'm control freak, and I want to do it all by my own. And I spent about 3 or 4 hours a day
Wow.
only about customer support. 3 hours a day, and I thought I did the greatest customer support ever, better than Amazon. I'm the most expertise in the customer support. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And then I had enough in Christmas 2018, 2013, and I hired a VA from the Philippines to do only customer support.
Yeah.
I discovered two things. One, she do it better than me because that's what she do. She knows how to do customer support. And two, her English is better than me. As you said, English is not my native speaking language, so she speak better than me. She has much more patience, and the customer love her. And my time is precious. It's very precious. So I could spend my time on other things, on Amazon, on find new products, on increasing promotion, and so on.
Yeah, that's a big topic that I really fascinate. I love. I'm passionate about like outsourcing, about like delegating like work to other people. Yeah, like maybe in the future we can just talk about that. Super important, I feel. Okay. I know that in the previous positions that you had, you and managed many people under you, you realized that organizations and discipline are big parts of any business success. Do you have anything that you can share to make Amazon FBA sellers more organized or on top of their business numbers and bottom line?
Um, I think when I started to work on Electra, as I said, it's one of the biggest companies in Israel. And it's after, I think, 5 years as an entrepreneur. And I used to manage many things on my own. So there's quite a few advantages and disadvantages in a large organization. One of the crucial things I've learned and taken with me is the understanding that one person, however talented, cannot know and be expert in everything. For example, as I said, if you are manage the PPC, you have the expertise on MSD PPC, you do the PPC management, the best in all the US. It doesn't mean that you know how to manage the inventory at the same level. So you you must um, let's say like that, you will be surprised to know how much information and understanding you can get from an expert planner with inventory management expertise. For example, um, I work with a planner that is working about one, I think, no, he worked about 4 hours a month, and I'm sending him reports, Amazon reports, and basically he put it on the Excel sheets, um, um, analyze them, and tells me how many units I need to order from each SKU and when to place the order.
Okay.
I never could done it myself as the way he does it. The same in the financial field. Understanding the numbers, analyze cash flow and more, you need to understand it, but hire not for a full-time job, for 2 hours a month, 3 hours a month, hire an expertise, an accountant, or I don't know, someone, an advisor that can take the numbers and tell you what you're doing good. It's you put too much money on the PPC, you spend too much money on storage, on FBM order, I don't know, and tell you what you need to do in order to to make the business run well. The most important thing that the business will run okay.
Mhm. That's a great example. I thought now to hire, like not thought, I actually hired a freelancer the same way that you explained, just like for part-time, just like maybe 2 or 3 hours a week at the beginning, and then maybe just less a month, just for the inventory. But for financial, it's the same. Yeah, I know kind of like what's going on in the business, but I don't really dig deep enough to the bottom of things because lack of time, and that could save me actually a lot of money. So that's something that I definitely would work on, and to hire someone as a freelancer just to look at my financial. You think that accountant is have the right expertise to dig into Amazon things or have the right knowledge, or you think it's better to hire someone that is just like know about Amazon?
I think numbers and finance at the end, it's numbers. It's only numbers. It's data. So you need to take the data and put it on the Excel sheet, and then they know what to do and they know what works well and what don't work well.
Yeah.
For example, I worked with a financial advisor that came from the real estate field, and she took my numbers. She asked me how much PPC, how much Amazon fee. She didn't know nothing about Amazon. And after 2 or 3 hours that she analyzed the report, she told me, okay, your PPC click is worth something like that. You need that, for example, only 30% for all your sales will be from the PPC. Otherwise, your margin is really, really low. and you need that cash flow in order to make other inventory and to so they look from a different angle on your Amazon business
Yes.
and help you to understand it better financially because at the end we are running a business. Someone it can be about 100 and 200K or 300K dollars a year, and it could be millions, as you know.
Mhm.
And it's a business, and you can run it alone.
You can't. You can't. Sometimes you have the illusion because Amazon doing like the big parts of the business, like inventory,
Exactly.
customer service. You think that you can run it by yourself, which is true, but to a certain level. Like maybe as a beginner, your first year, yeah, but the faster that you hire, the faster your growth will be. Sometimes people scared on saying, "Oh, I'm not making enough to hire someone." But I think that's the best investment that you can make, even before taking profits to yourself. Like invest in other like people, and it could like the return, the ROI will be like crazy.
Yeah, the ROI is very positive and definitely.
Yeah. Okay, great. Um, how you manage your supply chain? You mentioned that you send the data like to someone and then he's analyzing it. Like, are you like aware of what formula they're using? Or are you like the numbers that he's giving you, the recommendations are accurate? Using any softwares?
Yeah, at first I work with several tools that give me an overall picture of my activity and alert me regarding inventory, sales, rating, and so on. If it's a seller board or Fetcher or Sellix or Forecastly, you have a lot of good tools that help you to manage your Amazon account. And I know many sellers that don't use them, and it's awful because I think it's one of the most important part of the Amazon FBA business because Amazon doesn't let you know anything, and it's really tough to get data from Amazon and to understand the data.
Yes.
So the external tools, and it's pennies. It's $15 a month, $19 a month. It's
Yes.
pennies, but
Because it could
as I
save you
mentioned,
like thousands of dollars, right? Pennies comparing
yeah,
to what you can actually save or make
yes.
more. Yeah.
First you need to understand. First, it helps you to understand what the business do, because I'm meeting with a lot of sellers that look at the Amazon sellers and say, "Oh, I sell 20K this month. Oh, exactly, but I don't have cash flow in my end. So where is the cash flow? It's go to the PPC, and I didn't understand it." Yeah, but as I mentioned earlier, I work with Planner that once a month I send him the Amazon reports. He puts them on Excel files, analyze them, and then he tells me exactly what I need to do. The tools also tell me what to do, and I compare it to his work, and I work like that. I
Hmm.
I
Okay.
I make a purchase order in my with my supplier according to the files. I and it's working well. It's working better. Of course, that the first time you order, I think the first few months of every product after launch, it's really hard to know what's working well. But after 5, 6, 7 months, you have a great picture and a good picture to know how many inventory you need to order.
Yeah, yeah. For new items, it's very like challenging to
Yeah.
know how well it will do or how much it will make. I know a lot of people that explain how to sell on Amazon. They analyze the competition, they see what they are selling, and based on that, they order like 2 months supply. My approach is a little different. I like to test the market with small quantities, and then sometimes it's kind of like it's not a good thing because I lose a lot of sales if the product is good. But at the other end, if the product is a failure, I don't really risk myself a lot. But
Yeah.
still something that I test, always testing and see what works the best. At the other end, you could say, okay, bring like 1,500 units or 2,000. You go all in. You're gonna be fully committed. The product research you're gonna be very well, and everything else you're gonna make sure that it's like the right way, and you put like all in approach, which is also good. But I always change my mind about it. I don't know.
I don't like the all-in. I love the all-in when you know your product is good, but and you know it only after you sell it a few months. After you sell it, definitely all in. But in the beginning, be careful, watch yourself, because you can spend thousands of dollars for nothing.
And you never know. Even like
You
I
never know.
launch, I think like 30 products now, and I still like don't know for every new product that I bring. Some markets, yes, I have more confidence. Maybe it's related item, maybe it's something that I have experience with, but you still like you never know how the market will like accept the market, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you think um, it's an area you should outsource, or because the importance to keep it? Okay, so about that we already discussed whether you
Okay.
should outsource like the
No,
this task.
not 100%. You need to find the balance. You need to be hybrid about that.
Yeah, I think the approach or the way you explain it, like hiring a freelancer, it's the right balance because you're not like fully committed to hire someone like full time or even part time that works no matter like how many hours a day that you agreed, and he do whatever like he needs to do like as far as work, and where he's done, he's done. So that's I think put you at really like no risk. If you're not happy
Yeah,
with the 10 hours he did for you, yeah, you lost that money, but at least yeah, like what works, and you can move on to the next person. Um,
exactly.
so how this will be the last question, which is relevant to where we are right now at the time of the year, almost the end of Christmas. I think like many of our items, like you already see that it will arrive after Christmas, which hurts the conversions.
Yeah.
But it's time to prepare for Chinese New Year. So how Amazon FBA sellers should prepare as far as the inventory management for this upcoming Chinese New Year, which is like definitely different than the previous years. Um, last year on Chinese New Year, the whole thing, the pandemic started. It was
Yeah.
big challenge to everyone to have stock after, and whoever had prepared enough stock before was really lucky to get like all these fruits of all these sales, during the pandemic.
Yes. First, we record the video. We're in the middle of December, so I think that a seller who has not placed an order yet with the supplier is already quite late. But like every year, this period is different. It requires an other thinking and planning. It's crucial to understand all the details before we are placing the order with the supplier. First, I think that all sellers on Amazon and basically all the retail world are placing orders with the supplier this month. So think about it. All the retail all over the world placing orders with the Chinese suppliers now, this month. So all the factory are really, really busy. And as a result, the production times are expected to be much larger than usual. Second, the end of the production, it's about the end of January. As every year, the shipping companies are expected to be overloaded much more than expected. So the shipping cost and the preparation time are also expected to be larger than usual. Third, the factories are expected to return to work only at the end of February. So even then, there is a bottleneck is expected. So even if you started to producing today, so at the end of February, the goods are expected to be ready only around the beginning of April. So that means that the goods that you order today should be enough for you by about middle of May. You need to
Wow.
work on 5 months ahead.
Wow, I didn't plan it like that. So it's a good point that you're saying. I think that like let's say you place this order now, right? And it's going to be, let's say, like middle of January to be ready. When
Yeah.
it's shipping, you think that the factories won't be able to take another order like between or mid January, to
No,
the Chinese New Year, which is February 12th. February
February
12th.
12th, 20, something like that. But
Yeah,
all the all the Chinese employees are starting their vacation at
end
the
of January.
beginning of February,
Yeah.
so they don't take new orders, and they're back only at the end of February.
Yes, yes. That's why you need a really good relationship with factories, because, for me, during the pandemic, they actually produced some of my bestseller items. I put like a lot of, I actually threatened them. I told them, look, if you're not going to produce the goods, I'm going to move my operations to India. I sell a lot of cotton products, and they got scared, and they actually got an arrangement that they're gonna work at home during the pandemic. They get like some staff employees,
Nice.
but I only could do that if I build this relationship. So building relationships, like sending gifts, being like interested in them, building this personal relationship. It's like we talked about ROI. So the return of these little things is so important.
So here's
Always.
another tip. Here's another tip. As you said, do what you do best, outsource the rest. So I have also a Chinese sourcing agent that she teach me that when I talk with the Chinese supplier and ask for a quote, so I get an English quote, a US dollar quote, but if she contact the supplier, she get another quote. It's a Chinese quote. It's other different. It's different prices, and it's better relationship with the supplier. No matter what you do, you can be the warmest contact person, and it will be great communication. But when you're talking with in a Chinese with your Chinese supplier, it's other communication. So since then, I work only with her. Only if even if I found myself on Alibaba and new suppliers, I tell her, okay, thank you very much. I will contact my your my sourcing agent. I don't call it a sourcing agent. I call her my I don't know my
Employee in
operation
China.
manager. Yeah,
Okay.
my operation manager, something like that. Will contact you tomorrow, and she will continue from here.
Wow, that's a nice strategy actually. I didn't think about it. I do have a sourcing agent too, but to be honest, recently the prices that they can bring, they are not that great. So I didn't really use it, but it's a good point to try, because they obviously, if they have someone this talking to them the same language, also the way that you explain it, like she's part of your company just based in China, they will take it seriously, and they say,
Yeah,
okay, they know what they're doing, and we can't just like BS them and just tell them stories. I also like
yes,
to check, the Chinese Alibaba 1668 to see whether the price they are giving me is comparable with what they sell it between themselves. That's a good way for me to validate whether the pricing is on, or like it's they're trying to rip me off.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I learned Chinese now, so they're trying to talk with them in Chinese. They really
Nice.
enjoy it. By the way, did you visit China? Do you recommend to sellers to go and visit there?
I do recommend them, but honestly I never been to China. I really want to be here. I wanted to be here last year.
Yeah,
I tell myself that I will be in the Canton Fair in
you can.
April, but pandemic comes and
Yeah, I actually had a ticket for March, last March, this March, I mean 2020, and obviously, yeah, I had to cancel the flight, but I plan to go this. I hope that we will have this Canton Fair in this April.
no,
And
I don't think.
you don't think that it will happen?
No, maybe in October at the end of the year. It's too
Maybe.
soon.
Yeah, but anyway, I plan to go to. I think that the value and the more personal connections that I will create will be like, it's something that I really feel that I have to go there and build those relationships. And the main purpose is just get like better payment terms. So let's say they ship the item, but I will pay them only like after 60 or 90 days. That
Yeah,
will
line of
allow me
credits.
to launch new products and have better like financing and better uh, like options to scale. um,
Exactly.
what about you? Do you have payment terms with your suppliers? it's big part of logistics, right?
Of course, not that good. I have line of credit of 60 days with one of my major suppliers. It's good, but it's not that helps me. But yes, I talking with them every time and anytime. We are working together for 6 years. They're sending me presents for Christmas, although I'm an Israeli and I'm a Jewish, but
Yeah.
I don't
For
want to
New
tell
Year
them.
too.
So yeah,
Yeah, they like to send the gifts for the new year, I know. Yeah, that's good. From what I did a little research because was my main purpose to travel to China to get the payment terms. So before my trip, which was canceled, I really did the research, and what I heard from other sellers that were able to get it, they said that the best way is to do it in person. Like and be prepared. Like show them why they want to give you the payment terms. It's not just for you, it's for them too.
yes, it's
Because
for them.
yeah, like get the numbers right and tell them that if you give me payment terms, you're going to get more sales, and back it up by data. Like show them numbers, even if they are not 100% accurate, exaggerate and put like
Yeah,
higher numbers. I think it should increase the rating if you just
that's
come, oh,
exactly
give
what
me
I.
payment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I told them now I have 10 SKUs. If you give me line of credit, 60 days, I will be able to enlarge it by 12, 14, 16, maybe 20 SKUs
Okay.
because you give me the line of credit to work. You give me air to breathe.
Okay, this I didn't really plan about adding new SKUs. It's good for them. Like you're gonna say, yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't. I just told them I'm gonna order more. That was my plan, but it's a good
That's the
thing.
same, basically the same. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, very good. All right, it was very productive call. I learned a lot of things. I'm sure the people are going to watch it will also learn ton of new things. I appreciate you coming and doing this with me. And
Thank you
maybe in
for
the
having me.
future, I hope we can do another call, maybe about outsourcing and hiring, about like related to Amazon FBA.
I will be happy.
Thank you very much, Ellie.
Thank you for your time, Tomer.
Of
Bye bye.
course.